Hi there. Okay, this is attempt number 2 because we had fun with spammers in the comments section on the last YouTube video. So I'm learning lots by you doing YouTube lives, and that's what we need to do when we're trying new things. We need to just be willing to learn. So in this YouTube live, I'm going to talk specifically to projectors who want to understand more of the subtlety and the nuance of waiting for the invitation, when to wait, when to just go ahead and do things, ask for what you want. And it's also going to be helpful for you if you're another human design type who is wanting to better support a projector loved one, especially if they're your own kiddos or children that you have a hand in raising, but it might be your partner or a friend of yours, or you might be a human design coach or reader who is another human design type, and you know that your projector clients are struggling with some of the just very basic theory. So we really need to go several layers deeper than just wait for the invitation, because what does it mean in real life? So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, once I crunch the replay, I'll put the video up here where it was asked, but people, the video that it was asked on is when people want your projector insights for free. So you can always check that one out afterwards if you are a projector who is experiencing that. But the question that was asked is, what are your thoughts on projectors inviting friends and family to socialize? Sometimes I want to invite someone to hang out rather than waiting for the invitation. So basically this projector is saying, Carolyn, do I ask my friends and family to hang out, or is it not going to work? Or do I wait? And if I wait, will I never get invited to anything? Right? That's the big fear for us as projectors, that if we wait, nobody's going to invite us and we're going to be all lonely and alone. And it is a very reasonable fear to have, because we have been so conditioned to respond to opportunities and to try and make things happen like other human design types. So for the purposes of this conversation, we need to split this into two. I want to separate family from friends, because my experience in 11 and a half years of flying with human design as a projector is that these two groups of people can tend to work quite differently. Now, if we look at the family bucket first, if you are like me, you probably are lucky enough to have family who love you and care about your well-being, but they may not recognize you, if we use that human design term. So recognition, or being recognized, just means that the person wants your advice, they want your insights. If you are listening to me and you are liking what you're hearing from me, you recognize and value my insights, my wisdom, my knowledge. That's what recognition feels like, right? Somebody wants those things from you. Now, within our immediate and if I talk about my family, my immediate family and my extended family of origin, so from childhood, many of them love me and care about me, but they very rarely ask my advice, ask for my wisdom, my knowledge, my insights, my ideas on anything, right? So a good rule of thumb is, if you have family members who love you and care about you but don't recognize you, it works much better if you wait for invitations. You wait for them to invite you into things. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't tell them, I love you, I miss you. If you haven't seen them, my family are all interstate or overseas, so I rarely see my family of origin, so I might express my truth that I care about them, but I'm not going to go fishing for invitations. And what I have found is, when I have forced a visit, when I've been like, I'm coming to see you because I miss you, it never works anywhere near as well as when I just freaking wait, right? So that's the family bucket. Let's look at the friends bucket, which is quite different. Ideally, projector, you have friends. All of your friends, to some degree, will recognize, value, want your insights, appreciate your wisdom. Now, if all they want are your insights and wisdom and it doesn't feel balanced, that needs to be a client or customer relationship. But we've talked about that in other videos. And if you want me to tease out that some more, let me know in a comment, because I can do that in a future video. But your friends should be people who are not paying you money, who you're not having sex with, because that's your partner or partners for some people, and their relationship feels both platonic and balanced, right? So all of my really healthy, sustainable friendships are people who, regardless of their human design type, I can think of people I'm friends with of all human design types, but they give me something that feels really nourishing and balancing, to balance out the fact that they also want my wisdom and my insights and my advice, right? Now, to me, in my experience, as projectors, we should only really be friends with people who recognize us. If they don't recognize us, the only reason that they're in relationship with us is because, from their perspective, they're lonely and they want company. That's not good for you, sweetheart. It's really not good for you. And you, as a projector, feel like you can't do any better, so you put up with being somebody's company. You deserve better than that. So the ideal is that they recognize you. Now, the good news is when you have recognition already, then you inviting your friends to socialize is going to work way more often. Now, what I have found as another layer of nuance here is that when my friends invite me, it works even better again, right? But there is way more wiggle room for me to invite my friends because there is already that level of recognition and wanting and valuing, right? Now, if you have listened to this and you're like, yeah, but Carolyn, it's so painful that my family never invite me, or I am in relationships with friends where like they don't ever ask me for my advice, for my insights. I don't actually feel really recognized. There's good news. We can do something about that. Now, the reason that you hear me talk about deconditioning so much in all my human design content, or so much of it, is because we need to pair these two babies together, right? Human design is fabulous, but you can know I have watched human design experts who have like 30 years of human design knowledge who are still not living true to aspects of their human design. And it is like, I feel like shaking them. I feel like saying, come on, can you like prioritize your deconditioning, please? Because you were born with this energetic blueprint that we can like look at as your human design chart. And then on top of that gets all of your layers of conditioning and all of the things that you've lived through, all of the things that you were taught. And that is sitting all on top of, or like stuck to your aura or your energy field. It is like wired into your nervous system. And if we don't have a way to gently remove the layers of stuff, I could do 1,000 videos on how to follow the human design projector strategy in all areas and all aspects of your life. And if your conditioning is still in there holding you in place, you are never going to be able to do anything with all of the content that I create. Free, paid, otherwise. In-person, groups, all of the things, right? So if you don't already have a really solid, safe, gentle, effective deconditioning tool, then I want to invite you to come and learn trauma-informed tapping with me. It is a combination of everything that I've learned in the last 10 and a half years of so many versions of tapping with so many masterful EFT practitioners and trainers and tapping masters of different tapping modalities. And then layering in what I have learned about the nervous system from masterful teachers who've been doing this for decades, who understand more about the human nervous system than most people on the planet. Trauma-informed tapping is my combination of all of those things. You can learn it one-on-one. There's a link in the description. Or I am starting my first series of group classes, and the first one is just like 5 or 6 days away. So if you want to find out the date for that, jump on the email list. The link is in the description. Let's peel off the layers of stuff that are stopping you from being in wonderful, loving relationships with the right people, and understanding how to feel good in your own body while you wait for the right people to recognize you. Now, I did have one question come in the comments here, so I'm just going to read that quickly. Understand tapping to release, but how does it decondition? Okay, that's a really good question. So what I want to do is I'm actually just going to save that question. Let's see if I can pin it. And I might even, because I think that my comments on here, good news, we got through the whole live without having spammers try and tell me how big their appendages are. Okay, so I have that question saved, and I can do that in a future video. So thank you so much for the question, and I will see you in the next one.